Hey guys, the Blue Dasher, and I want to talk about NTE, or Neverness to Everness, which is an upcoming gacha game I've been excited for quite some time. In fact, it's probably one of my most hyped for games in general. I just really love its overall vibe and supernatural setting, and it's a game that we have not gotten news for in a while. I mean, the last post about this game from official media might have been the post all the way back in October, so of course when I first saw the trailer, I couldn't have been more hyped. Now, this won't be like a live reaction or anything. In fact, this will probably be quite unscripted. It will just be my brief overview and thoughts on the footage that was shown in the trailer. I just want to talk about it because I'm so hyped for the game. In fact, hopefully after the game comes out, I'll be able to make a lot of video and content for it since I just really want to support the game. But anyways, there's a lot to talk about in the trailers, so it's probably best to just get started. Starting right from the beginning, the trailer showed multiple skins for the female MC and Natalie. And first off, they all look very good, but in a different aspect, I was really excited because if you didn't know, NTE has what I would call on paper a fairly generous gacha system. There's no 50-50s, you'll always get the rated up banner character, and the pity is at 90 pulls. Plus, when you pull for a character's dupes, you can actually activate the duplicate effects out of order, and what I mean by this, for example, there's not going to be such a thing as a character's kit being locked at their last duplicate copy. You can literally activate the abilities out of order, and all of this always seemed kind of too good to be true for a lot of people, me included, because I was wondering, like, how are they going to be able to monetize this, especially because this system is a lot more generous than a lot of other open world gacha games. So something probably has to give. And my biggest worry was that they might have skimped out on gacha currency. Like, they might just give less, right? Because the gacha is easier to get characters in. But I do think, with the amount of skins shown in the trailer, it probably shows that they're planning to monetize, at least significantly, through skins. So hopefully, this does mean that the gacha will be able to remain the way it is, which is a fairly generous system at the moment. But anyways, setting that aside, the actual outfits themselves look really cute and they seem very individualized for each character, which is kind of crazy to me because I was actually expecting them to make more generalized outfits that could be reused because it would probably be cheaper. But at least so far, from what we see of Natalie's outfits, they seem very tailor-made for her, and that's honestly just awesome. It even changes her haircut, which I have seen a lot of skins in other gacha games avoid doing because honestly that's just a lot of work. Overall, the skins all look really cute, and I cannot wait to see more of them, especially because I believe in the last changelog or things they wanted to do, Hotta specifically mentioned that they are preparing launch skins for every character, and now seeing how they all look so good, I just can't wait to see more of them. Then the trailer starts to show off some of the other mini games like the Tetris one, the fishing mini game, the Mahjong game, which, by the way, if you look closely, you can see Ji-Yuan's and Fadia skins near the end, and also they show off the first-person driving mode, which I believe used to be a bug in the closed beta, but it seems they decided to make it a real full-fledged feature, which I honestly think is just really cool. And then a mode I'm most interested in is the Horror S mode they seem to be showcasing here. It seems you have to hide from a monster, and I really hope they flesh out all of these side activities because it would make NTE as a whole really stand out in the gacha genre. Right after, they show our male MC with the gang looking at some kind of vault. I'm not really sure what this means. Maybe it's hinting at some kind of heist quest we can do. Though I'm kind of curious how that will work in the story, because while we can commit crimes, the purpose and lore of our characters is definitely not very criminal-like. Though, as I say that, the very next shot we get is our male MC in prison of all things, which I find hilarious because while the female MC is going on a date with Natalie, the male MC is stuck in prison. Like, what are you trying to say about the poor male MC, Hotta? Going back to the female MC, in the date we see with Natalie, it looks like we'll be able to hold the NPC's hands. So I'm kind of curious if this will just be a physical interaction type thing, like something you can just kind of like an emote. Like, is this something you can just activate and do? Or will there actually be lines or stories associated with it? Like, are we actually going on a date with these characters or whatever, like a friendship event? Or is it just something we can do and there's never going to be any lines associated with it? But either way, the hand holding is very cute. The game, to me, honestly, most of the characters in general, it just seems like they're very fun, they're very quirky. The game, a lot of time to me, feels very wholesome. And it just seems like such a fun vibe. I think all these features overall, just going back to why NTE is so interesting to me, which is the social and interaction aspect with other characters in the story, which is what I really like about it. For example, in a lot of other games, when you like go do a quest, they're just kind of like teleport there or get there before you. In NTE, when you do a quest, the characters will actually walk to their destination, and in the future, they're even planned to just roam around the city, which I think is just awesome. I think that makes the world feels way more lived in. So if we can start going on dates or hang out with characters in the city, I think that really adds a lot to the life simulation aspect, which I honestly really love. The rest of the trailers introduce a ton of new characters, and I actually think they're really well designed. I think they're actually locking in on the character design, because I feel like the older ones, while there were of course some well designed ones, I actually really like Mint's design, I like Natalie's design, but for example, I didn't really like Jensen's design, or even Ji-Yuan's design. I feel like they came off a bit bland. I feel like they didn't really have like a strong theme to them, but a lot of these new characters seem to be playing a lot more into the paranormal aspect, or just what division they're from. So I think they all look really good. So they introduced about 7 characters in total, starting with members of the CSU. Shingo looks very cool. She seems to rely mostly on kick-based techniques, which again, looks really cool. And her overall look is a good example to me of not being too over-designed, which was a big complaint from a lot of people about the old designs. Though personally, I didn't really mind it with ones like Mint. I was more against the blander designs. Though as I say that, the very next character we get is Iore, who might be the opposite of Chingu. She's arguably very over-designed, but I think she's still pretty cute, and she seems to be good friends with Mint, again, one of my favorite characters, and she seems to function as a foil for her based on their brief interaction here. Then, after we get to Nitsa, an ETE reserve member who wears an all-white outfit and has a really cool thing going on with her hair. I think it might be some sort of anomaly, since she seems to be able to use it almost like additional limbs. I think this is the right direction to go with the designs in this world. Mixing in the anomaly aspect is very cool, and something in my opinion they should do a lot more of. After that is our first male character, Chaos, who I have seen get the most mixed reaction compared to every other character revealed in this trailer. Some people think he's really bland, but in my opinion, I think he still looks a lot better than like the likes of Jensen. So I don't really mind him that much, and he seems to have a fun personality, like a really braggy personality. He's a bit of a yapper. And then right after we get Lingo and her ghost friend Xiao Zhen, which in my opinion is one of the coolest designs in the game so far. Xiao Zhen comes out of the TV looking like something from The Ring. I've always loved the 2-in-1 type characters, which is why I also kind of like Sakiri. Lastly, we have X, or maybe it's EXE, I don't think they said his name in the trailer. I think he's probably the best male design we have seen in the game so far. And based on fan reactions, I think people seem to agree. Oh, actually, I think I'm forgetting one character. We also have Elims, who was recording the footage this whole time. I think her design is pretty nice as well. I think it has good use of coloring, without being too over simulating. But yeah, overall, I think the designs in the game are a huge improvement. In fact, I've seen a lot of people who weren't interested in the game at all wanting to pick up this game now because they really like the new character designs. So I think as long as the character designs keep being like this game is gonna do very well in the character aspect. All in all, as you can probably tell, I can't wait for the game. I'm excited to see what isn't shown in a trailer, like whether there's gonna be any combat changes or character designs updates. Especially Jensen. Please fix Jensen, and probably Ji-Yuan or Hotta. Though actually, I've seen a lot of Hotta fans. I'm just not a huge fan of it myself, but overall, I think the game is shaping up to be really nice. The character designs are getting better, we're getting awesome skins, and the visuals seem to have improved even more, especially in the new footage they just uploaded today, actually, as I'm recording this, where they show the characters walking around the city. And they also show off a bit of the pink character that we are able to see in the key visual for the closed beta, but wasn't in the last character introduction trailer, and she looks really cute too. But anyways, the trailer for the most part lacked gameplay changes, but I'm sure we'll be seeing those pretty soon in the closed beta, and they might even upload some videos themselves leading to the beta, like today. Another to note is, I'm going to be on the Priven writing team for Neverness to Everness. I pretty much begged to be there, so I'm excited to be covering the game in general. I already work for Pridwin in the Rulers 99 section. So this is nothing new for me, but NTE is a very exciting game for me. So I just can't wait to write there. Hopefully, I'll be able to upload guides and my thoughts and maybe even live stream the game on my YouTube channel. And lastly, of course, I hope I'll be able to get access to the beta so I can finally get a full feel for the changes from the last beta before the game comes out. And I'm pretty sure the game's release won't be long after this, so hopefully all of us who, assuming we get unlucky and we don't get into the beta, hopefully everyone will be able to play the game soon. I think the release date for the game will probably be somewhere in Q1 of 2026. But yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit more to wait for the beta and a little bit more to wait for the full release. But I think the game is looking very good so far, and I think we have a lot to look forward to. And that's pretty much all for the video, so thank you very much for getting this far into my yapping. But as you can probably tell from if you look at my channel at all, I don't really post a lot of gaming videos, though I am a game dev myself. That's all the weird videos you've been seeing on this channel. And I'm working on a game myself called Dream On, which is currently work in progress, and I'm planning an update for my already existing game, which I made for the Scream Jam 2025 called Goodbye Page. But hopefully, if I get into the beta, you'll probably be seeing more NTE video on this channel really soon. And if you enjoy listening to me even a little bit, I would love if you would follow me on my channel, of course. But anyways, guys, hopefully I'll get into the beta and then we'll do some NTE stuff. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time.